Hi, I'm
And
Diane,
I
and I need to
remember
tell you about the
thinking,
day my
oh,
family
this is
uninvited
going
me
to
from
be a
Christmas dinner because I
wonderful
always make
adventure for
drama.
all of
They said
us.
I was negative, that I complained too
And
much,
I
that my
remember
presents would
thinking,
ruin their perfect
oh,
holiday
this is going to
celebration.
be a
What they didn't know was
wonderful,
that I'd been quietly
and
paying for
I
half their
remember
lives for the
thinking,
past 8
oh,
years.
this is
And
going
when
to
they
be
kicked
a
me out of the family
wonderful
Christmas,
adventure
I
for
decided
all
to
of
make their
us.
bills very, very dramatic.
And
This isn't a
I
story
remember
about
thinking,
revenge.
oh,
It's a
this
story
is
about
going to be a
boundaries, about what
wonderful
happens when kindness gets
adventure for
mistaken for
all of
weakness,
us.
and about the moment you realize that some
And
people only
I
love you for
remember
what you can do for
thinking,
them, not
oh,
for who you
this is
are.
going to be
Stay
a
until the end because I'm going
wonderful
to share a secret
adventure
recipe
for
that my
all of
grandmother
us.
passed down to me. The one thing my family
And
actually
I
begged me to bring
remember
back after
thinking,
everything that
oh,
happened.
this is
Before
going to
we
be a
continue, leave a
wonderful
comment telling us where you're
adventure for
watching from
all
and
of us.
subscribe for more stories like mine. My
And
name is
I
Diane
remember
Foster. I'm
thinking,
52
oh,
years
this
old
is
and I
going to
live in
be a
Portland, Oregon.
wonderful
I'm a
adventure
financial
for all
consultant
of
who
us.
specializes in helping small businesses
And
manage their
I
accounting and
remember
tax planning.
thinking,
I've
oh,
been doing this
this is
work for
going to be
27
a
years, and
wonderful
I've built a
adventure
successful
for
practice
all
that
of us.
generates about $240,000 a year in
And
income.
I
I'm
remember
single,
thinking,
never married,
oh,
and I
this
don't
is
have
going to be
children.
a
By most
wonderful
measures, I've done
adventure
well for
for all of
myself.
us.
I'm the middle child in a family of
And
5
I
siblings.
remember
There's my
thinking,
older brother
oh,
Marcus,
this is going
who's
to be a
57 and works as a
wonderful
high school
adventure
teacher.
for
My
all of
older
us.
sister Jennifer is 55 and is a
And
stay-at-home
I
mom.
remember
I'm
thinking,
52.
oh,
My younger
this is
brother
going to
Ryan
be
is
a
49 and
wonderful
manages a car
adventure
dealership.
for all of
And my
us.
youngest sister Emily is 46
And
and works
I
part-time as a
remember
dental
thinking,
hygienist.
oh,
My
this is going
parents,
to be a
Robert and Linda Foster,
wonderful
are both
adventure for
retired.
all of
My
us.
father worked as an engineer, and my
And
mother
I
was a
remember
librarian.
thinking,
They're in their
oh,
early
this
80s
is going
now,
to be a
living in the same house where we
wonderful
all grew up,
adventure
and
for
dealing
all
with the
of
usual
us.
challenges of aging. Health
And
issues,
I
fixed income,
remember
mounting
thinking,
medical bills.
oh, this
Growing
is
up,
going
I
to
was
be a
always the responsible
wonderful
one. The
adventure
one who
for
got good
all of
grades.
us.
The one who saved her allowance.
And
The
I
one who
remember
helped out when
thinking,
things got
oh,
tough.
this is
When my
going to be
siblings
a
were out partying in their
wonderful
20s,
adventure
I
for
was
all
building
of
my
us.
career. When they were making questionable
And
life
I
choices,
remember
I was
thinking,
making
oh,
investments and
this
planning
is
for the
going to be
future.
a
I learned
wonderful
early that being
adventure for
responsible
all
meant
of
being
us.
relied upon. And over the years,
And
that
I
dynamic
remember
solidified
thinking,
into a
oh,
pattern.
this
When
is going to
someone in the
be a
family had a problem, they
wonderful
called Diane.
adventure for
When
all
someone
of
needed
us.
money, they asked Diane. When
And
someone needed
I
help,
remember
advice, or
thinking,
support,
oh,
Diane was
this
always
is
there.
going to be
And
a
I was happy to help.
wonderful.
Really, I
And
was.
I
Because that's
remember
what family
thinking,
does,
oh,
right?
this
You
is
help
going to
each
be
other.
a
You support
wonderful
each other.
adventure
You
for
show up
all
when
of
people
us.
need you. Started small 8 years
And
ago.
I
My brother
remember
Marcus
thinking,
was going through a
oh,
rough
this is
patch.
going to be a
His wife had
wonderful
just been diagnosed
adventure
with
for
breast
all of
cancer,
us.
and the medical bills were overwhelming
And
even with
I
insurance.
remember thinking,
He
oh,
called me
this
one
is going to
night,
be a
and I could hear the
wonderful
exhaustion in his
adventure
voice.
for all of
Diane,
us.
I don't know what to do. We're
And
drowning in
I
bills.
remember
The
thinking,
mortgage is due,
oh,
Sarah's
this is
treatment
going to
costs
be
are
a
piling up,
wonderful
and I don't know how
adventure
we're going
for
to make it
all
through
of
the
us.
month. I didn't even hesitate.
And
How
I
much do you
remember
need?
thinking,
I hate to
oh,
ask,
this is
but
going to
maybe
be a
$3,000.
wonderful
Just to get
adventure
us
for
through
all
until
of
Sarah
us.
can go back to work. I sent him
And I remember
$5,000
thinking,
because
oh,
$3,000
this
would
is
just
going to
cover the
be a
immediate emergency.
wonderful
But
adventure for
$5,000
all
would
of
give them a
us.
little breathing room. Marcus thanked
And
me
I
profusely and
remember
said he'd pay me
thinking,
back as soon
oh,
as Sarah
this
was
is going to
better.
be a
I told him not to
wonderful
worry about it.
adventure for
Family
all of
doesn't
us.
keep score, I said. Sarah recovered,
And
thank
I
God.
remember
She went
thinking,
into
oh,
remission and
this is
eventually
going to
returned
be
to
a
work. But
wonderful
Marcus never
adventure
paid me
for
back,
all of
and I
us.
never asked. 6 months later,
And
Jennifer
I
called.
remember
Her
thinking,
husband
oh,
Tom had
this
lost
is
his
going to
job,
be a
and they were behind
wonderful
on their mortgage
adventure for
payments.
all of
Could I
us.
help? I sent
And
$6,000,
I
enough to
remember
cover the back
thinking,
payments
oh,
and give them a
this is going
buffer.
to be a
Jennifer promised to pay
wonderful
me back
adventure
as
for
soon as
all of
Tom
us.
finds work. Tom found work 3
And
months
I
later.
remember
Jennifer never
thinking,
mentioned
oh,
paying me
this
back.
is going to
Then
be a
Ryan called.
wonderful
His car
adventure
dealership was
for all of
struggling.
us.
Could I lend him money to cover payroll?
And
I
I
sent
remember thinking,
$12,000.
oh,
Ryan's
this is going
business
to
turned
be a
around and started doing
wonderful
well. He
adventure
never
for
paid me
all of
back.
us.
When I gently brought it up 6 months
And
later,
I
he looked
remember
confused
thinking,
and said,
oh,
"Oh,
this is
I
going to
thought that
be
was
a
you investing in the family
wonderful
business."
adventure
It
for
wasn't,
all of us.
but I let it go. Emily was
And
next.
I
She was getting
remember
divorced
thinking,
and needed
oh,
money for a
this is
lawyer.
going to be
I
a
sent
wonderful
$10,000.
adventure
Emily
for
got her
all of
divorce
us.
and moved into a nice apartment. She
And
never paid
I
me
remember
back. When
thinking,
I mentioned it
oh,
once, she
this is
said,
going to be a
"Diane, you know I'm a
wonderful
single mom
adventure
now.
for
I
all of
can't
us.
afford to pay you back." Then there were the
And
smaller
I
things.
remember
So many
thinking,
smaller
oh,
things.
this
My
is going to
parents'
be
property
a
taxes went
wonderful.
up. I paid the
And
difference.
I remember thinking,
$2,400 a
oh,
year.
this is going to
Marcus's
be
daughter
a
needed college
wonderful
tuition.
adventure for
I
all
sent
of us.
$8,000. Jennifer's car broke
And
down.
I
I paid
remember
for
thinking,
repairs.
oh, this is going to be a
$3,200.
wonderful
Ryan needed help with
adventure
his
for
kids'
all of
braces.
us.
I sent
And
$4,500.
I remember
Emily's
thinking,
apartment had a plumbing
oh, this is
emergency.
going to be
I
a
covered it.
wonderful adventure for all of
$2,800.
us.
My parents needed a new roof.
And
I
I
paid for
remember
half.
thinking, oh, this is
$9,000.
going to be
Marcus's
a
HVAC
wonderful
system died.
adventure for
I
all
sent
of us.
$6,000 for replacement. Jennifer wanted
I
a family
remember
vacation.
thinking, oh,
I sent
this is going to be
$3,000 as a gift.
wonderful
Over 8
adventure
years,
for
I had
all
given
of
or
us.
loaned my family approximately
And I remember thinking,
$127,000.
oh,
I kept
this
track
is
in a
going to be
spreadsheet,
a
not because I
wonderful
planned to demand
adventure for
repayment,
all of
but
us.
because I'm a financial consultant and I track
And
everything.
I remember thinking, oh, this is
$127,000.
going to be
That's
a
a down payment
wonderful
on a house.
adventure for
That's a
all
fully
of us.
funded retirement account. That's a
And
new
I
car and a
remember
year of
thinking,
traveling the world.
oh,
But
this
I
is
didn't
going to
think of
be
it
a
that way. I
wonderful
thought of it as
adventure
taking care
for
of my
all of
family,
us.
being the responsible one.
And
What I
I
didn't
remember
realize was how my
thinking,
family
oh,
thought about
this
it.
is going to
To
be
them,
a
I wasn't being
wonderful
generous.
adventure
I was
for
just
all
rich,
of us.
giving away money I didn't need. They
And
saw my
I
financial
remember
success
thinking,
as a family
oh,
resource,
this is going to
not
be
as the
a
result of my hard
wonderful
work.
adventure
And
for
somewhere
all
along
of
the way,
us.
they stopped seeing me as Diane,
And
their
I
sister, their
remember
daughter.
thinking,
They started
oh,
seeing me as an
this is going to
ATM.
be a
The dynamic
wonderful
shifted in other ways
adventure
too.
for all
When
of
you're the
us.
one always giving, people stop asking how
And
you're doing.
I remember
Your problems
thinking,
seem small
oh,
compared
this
to
is going
theirs.
to be a
You have money, so
wonderful
what could you possibly
adventure
have to
for
complain
all of
about?
us.
When I mentioned feeling stressed about
And
work,
I
Jennifer said,
remember thinking,
"At least you have a
oh,
good
this
job.
is going to
Try
be
being
a
a stay-at-home
wonderful
mom with no
adventure for
appreciation."
all of us.
When I talked about feeling lonely, Emily
And
said,
I
"That's
remember
the choice you
thinking,
made."
oh,
Some of
this
us
is going to
didn't have
be
the
a
luxury of staying
wonderful
single.
adventure
When
for
I
all
expressed
of us.
frustration about a client, Marcus said,
And
"You make
I remember thinking,
$240,000 a
oh,
year.
this is
I
going
think
to
you'll
be a
survive."
wonderful
When I mentioned feeling
adventure for
tired,
all
Ryan
of us.
said, "Welcome to the real world."
And
Some of
I
us have
remember
actual
thinking,
problems.
oh,
My
this is going
feelings
to
were
be a
dismissed.
wonderful.
My struggles were
And
minimized.
I
Because I
remember
had
thinking,
money,
oh,
and money was
this
supposed
is
to
going to
solve
be a
everything. But
wonderful
money doesn't solve
adventure for
loneliness.
all of us.
Money doesn't make you less tired.
And
Money doesn't
I
validate
remember
your
thinking,
feelings.
oh,
I started
this is going to
noticing a
be
pattern at family
wonderful
gatherings.
adventure
When I
for
walked
all
into a
of
room,
us.
the energy changed. People would
And
exchange
I remember
glances.
thinking,
They were
oh,
wondering if I was
this
going to
is
bring
going
up
to
money
be
or
a
debts.
wonderful
But I never asked
adventure
for
for all
repayment.
of us.
I never mentioned the money. I never
And
made
I
anyone feel
remember
bad.
thinking,
Because
oh,
that's not who
this
I
is
am.
going to be a
Still, the pattern
wonderful
persisted.
adventure
And it
for
started
all
to
of
bother
us.
me. Not the money itself, but the
And
lack of
I
gratitude.
remember
The
thinking,
assumption that I would always
this is
help.
going to be
The
a
entitlement.
wonderful
About a year
adventure
ago,
for
things
all of
changed.
us.
Family gatherings felt different.
And
Colder.
I remember
People were less
thinking,
interested in my life,
this
my
is going to
stories,
be
my
a
opinions.
wonderful
Conversations
adventure
would
for
stop
all
when
of
I
us.
entered a room. I mentioned this to
And
Jennifer
I
once.
remember
"Is
thinking,
everything
oh,
okay?"
this
I
is going
feel
to
like
be a
everyone's been
wonderful
distant lately.
adventure for
She laughed
all
it
of
off.
us.
"You're imagining things, Diane.
And I
You're
remember
always so
thinking,
dramatic."
oh, this is
Dramatic.
going to be
That
a
word stung.
wonderful
At Thanksgiving
adventure
last
for
year,
all of us.
I arrived at my parents' house to find everyone
And
already
I
there.
remember
The table
thinking,
was set,
oh,
but
this
there
is
wasn't
going
a
to be
place for
a
me.
wonderful
"Oh, we didn't think you
adventure
were
for
coming,"
all of
my
us.
mother said, quickly adding an extra
And
chair.
I
"You've been
remember
so busy
thinking,
lately."
oh,
I had
this is going
confirmed
to
my
be a
attendance 2 weeks
wonderful
earlier,
adventure
but
for all
somehow
of
they
us.
had forgotten. Every year, I
And
brought my
I
grandmother's
remember
famous
thinking,
pecan pie
oh,
to
this is
Thanksgiving.
going to
It
be
was a
a
tradition.
wonderful
That year, when
adventure
I
for
arrived
all
with
of
my
us.
pie, Jennifer said, "Oh, you
And
brought pie.
I
We
remember
actually already
thinking,
have 3
oh,
desserts.
this is going to be
Store-bought,
a
but they're fine.
wonderful
You didn't need to
adventure
go
for
to all
all
that
of us.
trouble." The message was clear.
And
Even
I
my
remember
contributions were
thinking,
becoming
oh,
burdensome
this
to
is
them.
going to be
In
a
late November,
wonderful
the family
adventure
started
for
planning
all
for
of
Christmas.
us.
I volunteered to bring my
And
grandmother's famous
I
Christmas
remember
cookies.
thinking, oh,
Intricate,
this is going to
time-consuming
be a
spiced molasses cookies
wonderful
with royal
adventure
icing
for
designs.
all of us.
I spent hours on them every year.
And
And they were
I
always the
remember
centerpiece
thinking,
of the Christmas
oh,
dessert
this is
table.
going to be a
"Actually," Jennifer
wonderful
said during the planning
adventure
call,
for all
"I
of
think we're
us.
going to try something different this year.
And
More
I
modern
remember
desserts.
thinking,
Less
oh, this is going to be a
traditional."
wonderful.
"But it's tradition," I
And
said.
I remember
"Traditions can
thinking,
change,
oh,
Diane.
this is
We
going to
don't
be
have to
a
do everything the
wonderful
same way
adventure
forever."
for all
They
of
were
us.
erasing me from the family traditions,
And
little
I
by
remember
little.
thinking,
2 weeks before
oh,
Christmas,
this is
on
going to
December
be a
10th, I
wonderful
received a text
adventure
message
for
from
all of
Jennifer.
us.
Not a call. Text.
And
"Hey Diane,
I
so we've been
remember
talking as a
thinking,
family,
oh,
and we think
this
it would
is
be
going to
best
be
if you
a
sat out Christmas this
wonderful
year.
adventure
Mom
for
and Dad
all
want
of
a
us.
peaceful, drama-free celebration.
And
And we all
I
agree that your
remember
presence
thinking,
tends to
oh,
create tension.
this is going to
We know
be
you're
a
going through a lot with work
wonderful
stress,
adventure
and we
for
think you
all
could
of
use a break
us.
from family obligations. Hope you
And I
understand.
remember
Maybe we
thinking,
can get
oh,
together in the
this
new
is going to
year."
be
I
a
read that message
wonderful
10 times.
adventure
Each
for
time
all
it
of
hurt
us.
more. They had uninvited me from
And
Christmas.
I remember
As a
thinking,
family, they had
oh,
discussed
this
it
is
and
going to be
decided I
a
wasn't welcome.
wonderful
Because I I
adventure
create
for all of
tension
us.
and would interfere with their drama-free
And
celebration.
I remember
Called Jennifer
thinking,
immediately.
this
What is
going
this
to be
about?
a
What
wonderful
drama have I
adventure
created?
for all of
Diane,
us.
you're always so negative.
And
Always
I
complaining about
remember
work.
thinking,
Always talking about
this
how
is going
tired
to
you
be
are.
a
We just want
wonderful
one holiday where we can
adventure
all
for
relax
us.
and have fun without you bringing everyone down.
And
When
I
have I
remember
ever
thinking,
ruined a holiday?
this
You
is
don't
going to
ruin
be
them
a
exactly.
wonderful
You just
adventure for all
You
of
have
us.
this heavy energy, this cloud,
And
we've
I remember
decided we need a
thinking,
break from it.
this
A
is going
break
to
from
be
me.
a
Yes.
wonderful
Is that so
adventure for
terrible?
all of us.
I hung up and called Marcus. Look, sis, Jennifer has a point. You do tend to bring heavy energy to family events. You complain a lot. It's exhausting for the rest of us. Called Ryan. Honestly, Diane, you can be kind of a downer. Always talking about work stress and how tired you are. Meanwhile, the rest of us have real problems and we don't complain about them. I called Emily. She texted back. I agree with everyone else. Christmas should be happy. You make things sad. Sorry. I sat in my living room, trying to process what had just happened. My family, the people I had supported and financially carried for 8 years, had uninvited me from Christmas because I was too negative. The irony was crushing. I had given $127,000 to these people. I had never asked for repayment. I had never held it over their heads. I had just quietly been there whenever anyone needed anything. And this was how they saw me, not as generous, not as supportive, but as negative, dramatic, and tension-creating. That night, I opened my spreadsheet and looked at exactly how much I'd given to each person. Marcus, $34,500 Jennifer, $28,200 Ryan, $24,800 Emily, $18,600 parents, $20,900 total, $127,000. I also noted ongoing expenses I was currently covering. My parents' property tax difference, $200 per month, $2,400 per year. Marcus's car insurance, $180 per month, $2,160 per year. Jennifer's streaming services, $45 per month, $540 per year. Ryan's kids' phone bill, $85 per month, $1,020 per year. Emily's renter's insurance, $75 per month, $900 per year. These weren't loans. These were expenses I had offered to cover to make their lives easier. Over time, they had simply stopped acknowledging that I was paying for these things. They had become expected, entitled. I sat there looking at these numbers, and I felt something shift inside me, a clarity I hadn't felt before. They didn't value my presence. They valued my money. They had uninvited me from Christmas because I was dramatic. But the truth was simpler. They had gotten so used to my financial support that they saw it as a given, not a gift. And without that constant appreciation, all they saw were my human flaws, the tiredness, the work stress, the occasional complaint. I wasn't making drama. I was making their lives financially possible. And they couldn't see the difference. That's when I made a decision. Not out of anger, though I was angry. Not out of revenge, though revenge was tempting. But out of self-respect. Out of recognition that I deserved better. If they didn't want me at Christmas because I made drama, then I would give them real drama. Financial drama. I would stop paying for everything. All of it. I would stop being their invisible safety net. I didn't tell anyone. I just started making changes. First, I went to my bank and set up automatic payment cancellations for all the recurring expenses I was covering. The property tax payment, cancelled. Marcus's car insurance, removed. Jennifer's streaming services, downgraded to just my account. Ryan's kids' phone line, removed. Emily's renter's insurance, cancelled. All of this would take effect on January 1st. New Year's Day. Fresh start. Second, I sent a simple email to everyone in the family. Not confrontational. Not angry. Just factual. Hi everyone. I've received the message that I won't be joining you for Christmas this year. I understand you need space from my dramatic presence. And I respect that decision. In the spirit of reducing drama in my own life and starting the new year with healthier boundaries, I'm making some changes to my financial commitments. Effective January 1st, I will be discontinuing all financial assistance and bill payments to family members. This includes property tax assistance to mom and dad, car insurance for Marcus, streaming services for Jennifer's family, phone service for Ryan's son, renter's insurance for Emily, any other expenses I may currently be covering. I want to be clear that this isn't punishment. This is me establishing healthier boundaries and reallocating my resources in ways that feel more aligned with my values. I wish you all a wonderful Christmas celebration. With love, Diane. I hit send at 9 p.m. on December 10th. Christmas was December 25th. That gave everyone 2 weeks to figure things out. The responses started coming in within minutes. Jennifer. Diane, don't be petty. This is exactly the kind of drama we were talking about. Marcus. Are you seriously canceling my car insurance over this? That's really low. Ryan. You're taking my kid off your phone plan? Because we didn't invite you to Christmas. Emily. I can't believe you're doing this. You're proving everyone right about how dramatic you are. My mother. Diane, honey, is this really necessary? Please don't do anything rash. I didn't respond that night. I let them sit with it. The next morning, my phone was flooded with calls and texts. I let them all go to voicemail. By lunchtime, I had 31 missed calls and 64 text messages. I finally responded with one group text. I'm not being dramatic or petty. I'm being honest. You told me I create drama. The best way to eliminate drama is to remove myself from situations where I'm not wanted. That includes financial entanglements that have become one-sided. This is about self-respect, not revenge. Jennifer called me. Answered. Diane, you're being ridiculous. We just wanted one holiday without your negative energy. That doesn't mean we want you to cut us off financially. Interesting, I said calmly. So my presence is negative and dramatic, but my money is welcome? Help me understand that logic. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? Silence. You know what I think. I think you've all gotten so used to my financial help that you've forgotten its help. You think it's just something I do because I can. And somewhere along the way you stopped appreciating it. You stopped appreciating me. I became the dramatic sister who complains, not the person who's been quietly carrying your financial burden for 8 years. We appreciate you, Diane. Do you? Because appreciation looks like gratitude. It looks like acknowledgement. When was the last time any of you asked about my life and actually listened to the answer? More silence. I'm not cutting you off to be cruel. I'm establishing boundaries that should have existed all along. The money I've been giving you, that's my retirement savings. That's my security. That's my future. And I've been sharing it because I love you. But love is a two-way street. And I've been walking down a one-way street for a very long time. So you're just going to abandon us. I'm not abandoning anyone. I'm stopping enabling. You're all adults with jobs and incomes. You can pay your own bills. If my absence from Christmas is such a relief, then my absence from your financial lives should be even more liberating. Jennifer was crying now. Diane, please. Sorry. We were wrong. Please don't do this. I'm not doing anything except stopping something I should have stopped years ago. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. You showed me I'm not wanted at family gatherings. I'm believing you. Hung up. Over the next few days, the calls and messages continued. Some apologetic. I'm angry. Some trying to negotiate. Marcus. You can come to Christmas. Just please don't cancel my car insurance. My response. You'll figure it out. Ryan. This is blackmail. My response. No, I was helping you. Now I'm stopping. You're free. Emily. I'm a single mom. I can't afford renter's insurance. My response. Then budget for it like millions of other single moms do. My parents called. My mother was crying. Diane, sweetheart, why are you doing this? Dad, for 8 years I've been helping everyone financially. I've given $127,000. I've been paying regular bills. And I've never asked for anything except to be treated like I matter. Instead, I got uninvited from Christmas because I'm too dramatic. That told me everything I needed to know about how this family values me. We do value you, my mother said. Mom, when was the last time you asked me how I was doing? Actually asked, and listened. Silence. I love you both. And I'll always be here for genuine emergencies. But this pattern of me giving and everyone taking without appreciation has to stop. But we can't afford the property tax increase without your help. Then you'll need to make some choices. Maybe downsize. Maybe get a reverse mortgage. Maybe one of my siblings can contribute. I can't keep being the only one solving everyone's problems. Helping your parents shouldn't feel like a burden. It's not a burden to help. It's a burden to be the only one helping while being told I'm too negative to attend Christmas dinner. Do you understand how that feels? They didn't answer. Christmas came. I spent it alone, which was exactly what my family said they wanted. I went for a long hike, came home and cooked myself a nice dinner and watched movies. It was peaceful, quiet, drama-free. On Christmas evening, I got a text from Jennifer with a family photo. Everyone was smiling. The caption read, "Missing one today, but sometimes space is what family needs. Merry Christmas. Missing one." Like I was an afterthought. I didn't respond. But I did notice something in the photo. On the dessert table in the background were store-bought cookies. Plain, generic, nothing special. No intricate designs. No family tradition. The following week, January 1st arrived. New Year's Day. All the automatic payments stopped, just as I'd warned. The first call came from Marcus on January 2nd. Diane, my car insurance lapsed. Got pulled over this morning. You really let this happen. I told you exactly when the payments would stop. You had time to set up your own coverage. I didn't think you'd actually do it. Why not? I said I would. I thought you'd calm down and change your mind. I'm perfectly calm, Marcus. This is what calm looks like. This is me taking care of myself for once. Jennifer called on January 5th. Netflix isn't working. Neither is Hulu. Why? Because I downgraded to
adventure
just
for
my
all of
account.
us.
You're welcome to subscribe to your own services. I can't afford all those subscriptions. Then choose the ones you want
Adventure
most.
for all of
That's
us.
what most people do. Ryan called on January 8th. My son doesn't have a phone anymore. This is affecting his
Adventure
social
for
life.
all of us.
Ryan, he's 16. He can get a part-time job and pay for his own phone. Or you can add him to your plan. We're not made of
Adventure
money
for
like you
all of
are.
us.
I work for my money. Earn it. I budget for it. And I've been sharing it with family members who failed to appreciate it and excluded me from family events. I'm done. Emily's landlord called her about her lapsed insurance. She called me in a panic. Diane, my landlord says I have 30 days to get insurance or he'll evict me. Call an insurance company. They can set you up in a day or two. I can't afford it. Then adjust your budget. You got your nails done last week. You went out to dinner twice this month. You have discretionary income. You just need to prioritize. My parents called on January 12th about their property tax balance. Diane, we're going to lose the house. No, you're not. You have other children who can help. Ask them. We can't ask them. Have you asked? Or just assumed? Silence. Try asking. You might be surprised. Over the next 2 weeks I held firm. I didn't restore any payments. I didn't give in. And a funny thing happened. My family started figuring things out. Marcus called his insurance company and set up a payment plan. It was more expensive, but he managed. Jennifer canceled 2 of the 3 streaming services. Her family survived. Ryan added his son to his phone plan. He adjusted his budget to accommodate it. Emily got renter's insurance through a budget company. $30 per month instead of the $75 I'd been paying. My parents called Marcus, Jennifer, Ryan, and Emily and asked them to split the property tax overage. Each sibling contributed $480. Together, they covered the $2,400 I'd been paying alone. Nobody died. Nobody lost their home. They just had to be responsible for themselves. Like adults. What shocked me most was how angry they all were. Not at themselves, but at me. For withdrawing. You've changed, Jennifer told me. You used to be so giving. Now you're cold and selfish. I haven't changed. I've just stopped allowing myself to be used. There's a difference. Nobody was using you. Really. In the 8 years I've been helping everyone financially, how many times have you asked how I was doing? How many times have you invited me to lunch just to spend time together? How many times have you shown interest in my life that didn't involve needing something? Long pause. That's what I thought. I was useful, not valued. And when I stopped being useful, I became dramatic and unwelcome. That's not true. Then prove it. Invite me to something. Not because you need money. Just because you want to spend time with your sister. She hung up. In February, 6 weeks after the Christmas I didn't attend, Ryan called. His tone was different. Hey Diane, can we talk? Just talk, I mean. No asking for anything. We met for coffee. He looked tired. I wanted to apologize. Really apologize. Waited. I've been thinking about what you said. About how we treated you. You're right. We took you for granted. I took you for granted. I got so used to you being the solution that I stopped seeing you as a person who has her own problems. Thank you for saying that. I talked to Marcus, and he admitted the same thing. We've been using you as a safety net, and we got mad when you removed yourself. That's not fair. No, it's not. For what it's worth, you're not dramatic. You're not negative. You're realistic and honest. And we labeled that as negative because it made us uncomfortable. Instead of listening, we pushed you away. I felt tears welling up. I miss my sister, Ryan said. Not the bank. My sister. The person who used to make me laugh. Who used to give great advice. Who used to be fun before we all made her feel like she had to fix everything. I miss you too. I don't expect you to start giving money again. That's not what this is about. I just wanted you to know I get it now. I understand why you did what you did. And I'm sorry. We talked for 2 hours. Really talked. About our lives, our struggles, our hopes. He asked about my work and actually listened. Felt like being brother and sister again. Would you be willing to come to a family dinner sometime? Ryan asked. No pressure. Just being together. Maybe. Let me think about it. 2 weeks later, Emily reached out for lunch. I owe you an apology. A real one. I'm listening. I've been terrible to you. Not just about Christmas, but for years. Every time you tried to talk about your life, I minimized it because I was jealous. You have this successful career, financial security, and freedom. I resented you. So I made you feel bad for having stress or problems. Emily, let me finish. When you cut off the financial help, I was furious. But it forced me to look at my budget. I was spending $400 a month on stuff I didn't need. I could have easily afforded my own insurance. I just didn't want to. It was easier to let you pay for it. She was crying.
I remember thinking,
you've been nothing but generous, and I treated you like you were an obligation, like you were less important because you didn't have kids or a husband, and that's so unfair. Your problems are real. Your feelings matter. You matter. I squeezed her hand. I don't expect you to forgive me right away. And I don't expect you to start helping financially again. I just wanted you to know that I see what I did. And I'm sorry. Thank you. That means a lot. Can we start over? Actually be sisters. I'd like that. We started meeting for lunch every other week. We talked about books, movies, her kids, my work, life. We laughed. For the first time in years, I felt like I had a sister. Marcus took longer. He was still resentful. But eventually in March he called. I've been stubborn and proud and wrong. I'm listening. Sarah made me sit down and think about everything, about how much you've helped us, about how I never said thank you, about how I expected you to always be there. She said I was treating you like a bank, not a sister. And she was right. How is Sarah? She's good, cancer-free for 6 years. We celebrated last month. That's wonderful. Because of you. The money you gave us when she was sick, that's what kept us afloat. We would have lost everything. And I never properly thanked you. I'm thanking you now. From my heart. You're welcome. I know I can't repay all the money, but I want to try. Sarah and I want to set up a payment plan. Maybe $200 a month. It'll take years, but we want to do it. I was shocked. Marcus, you don't have to. I do. Not because you're asking, but because it's right. You gave us that money when we needed it most. I appreciate that. But more than the money, I appreciate the acknowledgement. That's what I really needed. You deserve a brother who shows up for you. Can I start doing that? Yes, please. Jennifer was the hardest. She was still angry, still convinced I had overreacted. When we finally talked in April, at my mother's insistence, she was defensive. I don't think I did anything wrong. We just wanted one holiday without your negative energy. It's not a crime, but it's hurtful, especially when it's framed as me being too dramatic, when all I've done is support this family for 8 years. Well, you are negative sometimes. Jennifer, everyone is negative sometimes, including you. The difference is, when you're stressed or negative, I don't uninvite you from holidays. I support you. Listen, I help. You help with money. That's different, is it? When you were going through issues with Tom, I listened to you cry for hours. I came over and helped with the kids. I was there emotionally. Yes, I also gave you money, but I gave you more than that. And you've never acknowledged any of it except the money. She was quiet. What would it have cost you to say, Diane, I know Christmas is hard for you. You're single and don't have kids of your own. How about we make sure you feel included? What would it have cost you to see me as a person who might need family? Jennifer started crying. I didn't think about it that way. I know. That's the problem. I'm sorry. I really am. I got so caught up in planning the perfect Christmas. And I let Marcus and Ryan convince me that you bring everyone down. I should have stood up for you. You're my sister. Yes, I am. Can you forgive me? Eventually. But things have to change. You can't keep treating me like I'm only valuable when I'm useful. I know. I'll do better. I promise. My parents took the longest to understand. They're your family, my mother kept saying. Family helps each other. Mom, I helped for 8 years. I gave $127,000. And when I needed family, when I needed to feel wanted, I got uninvited from Christmas. At what point does my need for respect matter? But they're struggling. So am I, Mom. Maybe not financially, but emotionally. And my struggles count too. You're the one with money. You're supposed to help. Why? Because I made better decisions. Because I chose a lucrative career. Because I didn't have kids. Does that make my feelings less important? She didn't have an answer. My father came around first in late April. Your mother and I talked. And I think I understand now what you were trying to tell us. What's that, Dad? That we took you for granted. All of us did. We saw your success and your money. And we forgot to see you. Person or daughter, we forgot that you work hard for that money, that you have stress and problems, that you might need support too. I felt tears coming.
remember thinking,
Thank you for saying that.
This is going
I'm
to be
sorry we
a
made you feel like you
wonderful
only
adventure
mattered when you
for
were solving
all of us.
problems. You matter because you're you.
And
Because
I
you're our
remember
daughter.
thinking,
Because we love
this
you.
is going to
I
be
love
a
you too, Dad.
wonderful
For what it's
adventure
worth,
for all
I'm
of
proud
us.
of you. Not because of the money, but
And
because you
I
stood up for
remember
yourself.
thinking,
You set boundaries.
this is going to
That
be
takes
a
courage.
wonderful
Especially with
adventure
family.
for all of us.
That conversation healed something in me
And
I didn't know
I
was
remember
broken.
thinking,
By May, 5
this
months
is going
after
to
the
be
Christmas
a
I didn't attend,
wonderful
things had
adventure
shifted.
for all of us.
Ryan and I were having regular brother-sister
And
dinners.
I remember
Emily and I had
thinking,
our lunch dates.
this is
Marcus
going to
had
be
started
a
paying me
wonderful
$200 a month,
adventure for
which I
all of
accepted
us.
because I understood it was about his dignity.
And
Jennifer
I
and I
remember
were still
thinking,
rebuilding but making
this is
progress.
going to be a
She invited me to her
wonderful
daughter's dance
adventure
recital
for
in
all
June.
of us.
And for the first time in years, I
And
felt like she
I
actually wanted
remember
me there.
thinking,
My parents and I
this
grew
is going to
closer.
be a
We started having
wonderful
Sunday dinners,
adventure
just the
for
three of
all
us,
of
where we
us.
talked about real things. No money
And
talk,
I
no
remember
request,
thinking,
just family.
this
In
is going to
July,
be
Ryan
a
called with an
wonderful
unusual
adventure
request.
for all
So,
of us.
we're planning a 4th of July barbecue at
And
my place.
I remember
Everyone's going to be
thinking,
there. And
this
we'd
is
really
going to
like
be
you
a
to come.
wonderful
My heart clenched.
adventure for
I don't
all of
know,
us.
Ryan. I understand if you're not
And
ready.
I
But
remember
Diane,
thinking,
it won't be the same
this
without
is
you.
going to be
We
a
miss you.
wonderful
Not your money.
adventure for
Your
all
laugh,
of us.
your stories, your presence.
And
What
I
if it's
remember
awkward?
thinking,
Then it's
this
awkward.
is going to be
But we'll
a
get through it together.
wonderful
As a
adventure
family.
for all of
A real
us.
family. Thought about it.
And
Will
I
Jennifer be
remember
okay with me
thinking,
being there?
this is
She's
going
the
to
one
be
who
a
suggested it.
wonderful
She said the
adventure
4th
for
of
all
July
of us.
isn't complete without your potato salad.
And I
Smiled.
remember
My
thinking,
potato salad was another
this is
family
going to be
favorite.
a
Another
wonderful
recipe from my
adventure for
grandmother.
all of us.
Okay, come. But Ryan, I'm not
And
bringing money.
I remember
I'm not
thinking,
solving problems.
this is
I'm
going
just
to be
showing
a
up as me.
wonderful.
That's all we
And
want.
I
Just
remember
you.
thinking,
The 4th of July
this is
barbecue
going
was
to be
everything
a
I'd hoped for and
wonderful
feared.
adventure
There was
for
initial
all of us.
awkwardness when I arrived. People didn't
And
quite know
I
how to greet
remember
me.
thinking,
But then Emily's
this
daughter
is
ran
going to
up and
be a
hugged me, and the
wonderful
ice broke.
adventure for
Aunt
all of
Diane,
us.
we missed you. Mom said you were
And
busy,
I
but I'm so
remember
glad you're
thinking,
here. Jennifer
this is
came
going to
over
be
looking
a
nervous.
wonderful
Hi,
adventure
Diane.
for
I'm
all
really
of
glad
us.
you came. Me too.
And
I made
I
sure we had a
remember
seat for you,
thinking,
right at the main
this is
table,
going to be
where
a
you belong.
wonderful
That simple
adventure for
statement
all
meant
of
more
us.
than she probably realized. The day
And
was
I
lovely.
remember
We ate, we
thinking,
laughed, we played games
this
with the
is going
kids.
to be a
Marcus and I had a
wonderful
long
adventure
conversation
for
about his
all of
daughter's
us.
college plans. Emily asked for
And
my advice
I
on a work
remember
situation,
thinking,
and I realized
this
she was
is going to
asking
be
because she
a
valued my opinion,
wonderful
not
adventure
because she
for
wanted
all
something.
of us.
My father grilled burgers and hot
And
dogs,
I
and my
remember
mother made her
thinking,
famous coleslaw.
this is
And
going
yes,
to
I
be
brought
a
my potato
wonderful
salad, the
adventure
one
for
everyone
all of
loved,
us.
the one that had been missing from family
And
gatherings.
I remember
As
thinking,
the sun began to set and we
this
all
is going
sat
to
around
be
the
a
backyard,
wonderful
Jennifer raised her
adventure for
glass.
all of
I
us.
want to make a toast, she said.
And
Everyone
I
got
remember
quiet.
thinking,
To Diane, for
this is
teaching us
going
what
to
we
be
should have
a
already known.
wonderful
That family
adventure
isn't just
for
about
all
being
of
there
us.
for the good times or when you need something. It's
And
about
I
showing up for
remember
each other,
thinking,
respecting each
this
other,
is going to be
valuing
a
each other.
wonderful
We forgot
adventure
that for a
for
while,
all of us.
but we're remembering now. Welcome back,
And
sis.
I
We
remember
love you.
thinking,
We love you,
this is
everyone
going to be
echoed.
a
I felt
wonderful
tears streaming
adventure
down my
for
face.
all of us.
Good tears. Healing tears.
And
I love
I
you all
remember
too, I
thinking,
said. And I'm
this is
glad to
going
be
to be
here.
a
That
wonderful
night, as I drove
adventure
home,
for all
I
of
reflected
us.
on the journey. From being uninvited
And
to
I
Christmas,
remember
to cutting off
thinking,
financial support,
this is
to
going to be
rebuilding
a
relationships on
wonderful
healthier terms,
adventure for
had been
all of us.
painful. It had been necessary,
And
and it had been
I
worth
remember
it.
thinking,
I learned that boundaries
this is
aren't
going to
cruel.
be a
They're essential.
wonderful
That
adventure
saying no
for
isn't
all of us.
selfish. It's self-respect. That
And
sometimes
I
you have to
remember
let people
thinking,
struggle so they can grow.
this is going
And
to
that
be
real
a
family shows up
wonderful
not because they need
adventure
something
for
from
all
you,
of us.
but because they genuinely want you there.
And
In August,
I
my mother
remember
called
thinking,
me. Diane, honey,
this is
I have
going
a
to be
favor to
a
ask.
wonderful.
My stomach tightened.
And
Here
I
it comes, I
remember
thought.
thinking,
What is it, Mom?
this is going to
I know
be
this
a
might be too much to
wonderful
ask, but
adventure for all
would
of
you be
us.
willing to teach me your grandmother's cookie recipe?
And I
The
remember
Christmas ones with
thinking,
the royal icing.
this is
I
going to be
realized
a
this past Christmas
wonderful
that we lost
adventure
something
for
important
all
when
of
we
us.
didn't have them. And I don't mean just the
And
cookies.
I
I mean
remember
the tradition,
thinking,
the connection
this
to
is
the
going to be
past.
a
To her,
wonderful
to you, I
adventure
was
for
stunned.
all of us.
You want to learn the recipe. If you're
And
willing to
I
teach
remember
me,
thinking,
I know I don't deserve it
this is
after how
going
we
to be
treated
a
you, but I'd like to
wonderful
learn.
adventure
And maybe
for
we could
all
make
of
them
us.
together this year. For Christmas.
And I
Are you
remember
inviting me to
thinking,
Christmas, Mom?
this is
Oh,
going to be
honey,
a
you're invited to
wonderful
every Christmas for the
adventure
rest
for
of my my life. I'm so sorry we ever made you feel unwelcome. That was wrong. That was cruel. And I'm sorry. I'd love to teach you the recipe, Mom. And yes, we can make them together. And so, on a warm afternoon in late November, my mother and I spent the day in her kitchen, making my grandmother's famous Christmas cookies. I showed her the technique for rolling out the dough just right, for cutting the shapes, for mixing the royal icing to the perfect consistency, for piping the intricate designs. Your grandmother taught you this when you were 12. My mother asked, carefully piping a snowflake design. Yes, she said it was important to pass down traditions, to keep the family connected through generations. She was right. I'm sorry we almost lost this. Almost lost you. But you didn't.
I remember thinking,
we worked in comfortable silence for a while, and then my mother said, you know what I realized? The drama wasn't you. The drama was us. We created drama by taking you for granted, by dismissing your feelings, by treating you like a resource instead of a person. You just finally stood up for yourself. Yes, I did. I'm proud of you for that. Your grandmother would be proud too. Christmas that year was different, better. I was welcomed with open arms. Everyone had bought me thoughtful gifts. Not expensive ones, but things that showed they'd actually thought about what I might like. Things that showed they knew me. And on the dessert table, prominently displayed, were the Christmas cookies. The ones my mother and I had made together. The ones that represented tradition, connection, and healing. Jennifer took a photo of the whole family. And this time I wasn't missing from the picture. I was right in the center, surrounded by people who had learned to value me for who I was, not what I could give them. Next year, Ryan said as we were leaving, we're making this a new tradition. No one gets uninvited. Everyone's presence is valued. Deal, I said. As I drove home that night, I thought about the journey I'd been on. It had taken being uninvited from Christmas for my family to realize what they'd been taking for granted. It had taken cutting off financial support for them to learn to be responsible for themselves. And it had taken losing me for them to realize they actually wanted me in their lives. Sometimes you have to remove yourself from people's lives for them to realize your value. Sometimes you have to let bills become dramatic for people to understand that your help was never dramatic. It was essential. And sometimes, the greatest gift you can give your family is the gift of boundaries, accountability, and the chance to rebuild relationships on a foundation of genuine love and mutual respect. I still keep my spreadsheet. It still shows $127,000 given over 8 years. Marcus is slowly paying back his portion, and I accept his $200 monthly payments not because I need the money, but because I understand it's about his dignity. I haven't resumed any of the automatic bill payments. My family has learned to budget for their own expenses. And you know what? They're doing fine. Better than fine, actually. They're more financially responsible, more appreciative of what they have, and more capable than they ever thought they could be. Most importantly, our relationships are real now. When Ryan calls, I don't wonder if he needs money. When Emily texts, I don't brace myself for a request. When Jennifer invites me somewhere, I know it's because she genuinely wants my company. We're not perfect. We still have disagreements. We still have moments of tension. But now those moments are addressed, discussed, and resolved, because we've learned that sweeping things under the rug doesn't make them go away. It just makes them fester. My family learned that I'm not dramatic. I'm human. I have feelings, needs, and limits. And respecting those isn't optional. It's essential. And I learned something too. I learned that it's okay to prioritize myself. That self-care isn't selfish. That boundaries aren't barriers. They're bridges to healthier relationships. And that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to stop enabling and start empowering. So that's my story. The story of how I got uninvited from Christmas, made their bills dramatic, and ultimately taught my family what real love looks like. Now, as promised, here's that secret recipe I mentioned at the beginning. My grandmother's famous Christmas cookies that became the symbol of everything we almost lost and everything we rebuilt. Grandma Foster's Christmas spiced cookies with royal icing. Cookie dough, 3 cups all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon ground cloves, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 3/4 cup unsalted butter softened, 3/4 cup brown sugar packed, 1/2 cup molasses unsulfured, 1 large egg, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, royal icing, 4 cups powdered sugar, 3 tablespoons meringue powder, 6 to 8 tablespoons water. Food coloring optional. Instructions. Make the dough. In a medium bowl, whisk together flour, baking soda, cinnamon, ginger, cloves, and salt. Set aside. Cream butter and sugar. In a large bowl, beat butter and brown sugar until light and fluffy, about 3 minutes. Add wet ingredients. Beat in molasses, egg, and vanilla until well combined. Combine. Gradually add the flour mixture to the butter mixture, mixing until just combined. The dough will be soft. Chill. Divide dough into 2 discs. Wrap each in plastic wrap. And refrigerate for at least 2 hours or overnight. Grandma's secret. Overnight makes the flavors develop better. Roll and cut. On a lightly floured surface. Roll dough to a 1/4 inch thickness. Cut with cookie cutters. Place cookies 2 inches apart on parchment-lined baking sheets. Bake. Bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 to 12 minutes until edges are set but centers are still slightly soft. Don't over-bake. Let cool on baking sheet for 2 minutes. Then transfer to wire rack to cool completely. Make royal icing. In a large bowl, beat powdered sugar, meringue powder, and 6 tablespoons water on low speed until combined. Increase to high speed and beat for 5 to 7 minutes until stiff peaks form. If too thick, add water 1 teaspoon at a time. If too thin, add more powdered sugar. Decorate. Divide icing into bowls and add food coloring if desired. For outlining, use thicker consistency. For flooding, filling in. Thin the icing with a few drops of water until it flows smoothly. Use piping bags or squeeze bottles to decorate. Let dry completely, at least 2 to 4 hours or overnight. Grandma's secret tips. The molasses matters. Use unsulfured molasses for the best flavor. Sulfured molasses can taste bitter. Don't skip the chill time. The dough must rest for at least 2 hours, but overnight is better. This allows the spices to bloom and makes the dough easier to work with. Roll evenly. Use rolling pin guides or wooden dowels to ensure even a 1/4 inch thickness. This ensures even baking. Don't overbake. These cookies should be soft in the center when they come out. They'll firm up as they cool. Overbaked spice cookies are hard and not as flavorful. Patience with icing. Royal icing takes time to dry. Don't stack cookies until the icing is completely hardened, or you'll ruin your designs. Make it a tradition. The best part isn't the cookies themselves. It's making them with someone you love. Take your time. Create memories. That's what Grandma would have wanted. Storage. Store cookies in an airtight container at room temperature for up to 2 weeks, or freeze unfrosted cookies for up to 3 months. Yield about 3 dozen cookies depending on cutter size. These cookies aren't just food. They're tradition. They're connection. They're the physical representation of time spent, love shared, and values passed down through generations. When you make them, you're not just baking. You're creating memories. You're building bridges. You're keeping family alive. Make them with someone you love. Teach them the technique. Pass it on. Because that's what family is supposed to do. Not take from each other, but give to each other. Not use each other, but uplift each other. Not dismiss each other's value, but celebrate it. Being dramatic and start being honest. And when you do, real change happens. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying until the end. And remember, your worth isn't determined by what you can give. It's inherent in who you are. Never forget that.